Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips a balance in favor of fair use. Okay, guys, I do not think that I've read this one before. And I'm going to pick and choose what I read because there were some propaganda-ish kind of statements that I didn't like. Scientology policy enabled years of child abuse, lawsuit says. The third lawsuit filed against Scientology and leader David Miscavige in 3 months accuses the church of SUL battery, racketeering, and conspiracy. A team of 12 victims' rights attorneys on Wednesday filed the third lawsuit in 3 months against the cult of Scientology and its leader, David Miscavige. The complaint states a woman was repeatedly abused as a child in Scientology's care and that church policy enabled the abuse. Yeah, they really need to target the policies because that's why all this abuse is occurring. Well, I mean, it's more than that, but the abuse is written in a policy. Policies, I mean. By Tracy McManus, Time Staff, published September 19th, 2019. In the third lawsuit filed against the Church of Scientology and its leader, David Miscavige, in 3 months, a 25-year-old woman alleges she was repeatedly assaulted as a child in Scientology's care, including at the church's Clearwater Academy. Including at the church's Clearwater Academy. Could that be in Fort Harrison Hotel? On top of the abuse, the lawsuit explains how church officials, executives, allegedly knew it was occurring and did nothing to stop it, or alert law enforcement, not like they'd help. Actions rooted in policy written by Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard. When the woman spoke of her alleged abuse after leaving Scientology, in 2018, the church deployed a campaign of harassment against her, fair game, a tactic also based on Hubbard's fair game policy aimed to destroy those labeled as enemies. According to the complaint filed in Miami-Dade Circuit Court on Wednesday, Scientology's operatives cut the brake lines on the woman's car. Isn't that attempted murder? Inquiring minds want to know. For all the people that say that Scientology is not capable of the M word, they absolutely are. And I think they've done it numerous times. Especially in those so-called unaliving cases in which they all unalive themselves in exactly the same way. Because, Hubbard and some of these folks are not the most creative out there. Allegedly, the woman is referred to the complaint only as Jane Doe for fear of more retaliation by the church. Because they do like to off people's dogs and animals. They love to do that. The lawsuit names Miscavige, Scientology's flag service organization, its religious tech center, Church of Scientology International, and Clearwater Academy, as defendants against allegations from sexual battery to racketeering and negligence. Oh, go figure, racketeering. Did you guys hear that? They said racketeering. Huh. It's almost like Clearwater or LAPD would know about that, right? With no criminal charges brought upon Scientology, despite years of allegations of criminal activity, a team of 12 victims' rights attorneys are using civil court to expose the church's alleged institutional abuses. The team, which filed its first complaint in June, includes a constitutional scholar and a lawyer who successfully prosecuted Bill Cosby on assault charges. Scientology may be a religious organization and they can believe whatever they want to believe, but they can't do whatever they want to do. Hello? The team's lead attorney, Brian Kent, you guys know what I think about that, but, here it is. Told the Tampa Bay Times on Thursday they will be subject to the law just as any other organization would be subject to the law. Yeah, just like you were, Kent. Did you purposely derail some of these lawsuits? Late Thursday, a Los Angeles attorney for the church issued a statement dismissing the claims as a false, vile complaint. Ooh, wow, really creative there. While directly attacking the woman. Sounds like them. This complaint is just the latest example of anti-religious falsehoods wielded to destroy lives, stated William H. Foreman, litigation counsel for the Church of Scientology International. Ooh, they're going to give Scientology a lot here, right? The church will expose this complaint for the disgusting sham and bigotry that it is. The statement accused of Jane Doe without any evidence of being a convicted liar, who has pled guilty to making a false police report. Oh, now Scientology, you guys would know all about that, wouldn't you? The Times is aware of the alleged victim's identity and has been unable to corroborate any such claim in public records. The first time Doe was sexually abused in Scientology's care, the lawsuit states, was during her listen to this, during her 2 kindergarten years at Clearwater Academy on Drew Street in downtown Clearwater. Something tells me it's very close to Fort Harrison Hotel. The lawsuit states that on multiple occasions, an employee or parishioner forced Jane Doe and other girls to perform acts on each other. Master, you know what? In front of and blah, 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 on Doe, and on at least one occasion forced his blop, blop, blop into her mouth. Doe reported this to adults at the school. Oh, I can't wait to see what they're going to do. Let's see what they do, Scientologists. But no action was taken. A child in kindergarten years, and they don't even try to help her. But no action was taken to remove the employee or parishioner or to stop the abuse, according to the lawsuit. Where have we heard that one before? It's almost like we've heard this before. I can't say the things I think about online. But we can all agree it's very evil what's going on there. The only answer to crimes committed by church members, including us, is Hubbard's policy and technology, not law enforcement or the courts, the lawsuit states. Hubbard's policies, rolled out following the formation of the Church of Scientology in 1953, teach it as a high crime to report a Scientologist to law enforcement. Yeah, the ones they just call an employee. Funny how they pick and choose when they call them a parishioner versus an employee. Yeah, so it's a church with employees? Like, damn, get it straight already. Teach it as a high crime to report a Scientologist to law enforcement. Phones within certain church facilities are incapable of dialing 911, according to the lawsuit. Isn't that illegal? At age 11, Doe was sent by Scientology to live in Caracas, Venezuela, without her parents. The next year, she was assaulted by the son of a high-ranking Scientologist at the Caracas org, a church facility, according to the complaint. It doesn't look like they're doing any policing of their own at all. In fact, it looks like there's green flags to just R away. Are the children? Are the women? Doe immediately disclosed the assault to her auditor, a person who conducts spiritual counseling sessions. I wonder if it was a child or an adult. Instead of reporting the assault to law enforcement, the lawsuit alleges church officials sentenced Doe to 3 months of physical labor and issued her a non-interbulation order, which warned she was at risk of losing standing in the church for bringing in the SA. In other words, they sent her to the child prison, the child RPF. Isn't that nice? Wonderful bunch, ain't they? One who offers SA, whether an adult or a child, is assumed to have done something to incite or invite such abuse, as the lawsuit describes Scientology's practices. After her labor sentence, she was sent back to Clearwater at age 14 to join the Sea Org, the church's clergy-like workforce, where members sign billion-year contracts and work an average of 100 hours a week for little or no wages. Sea Org children are separated from their parents. I love how they word that. Isn't that an interesting way to word it? Listen to this again, just so in case we might not get it straightened out. Sea Org children are separated from their parents. Are you saying that the parents have no will? Or is it more like the parents just give up their children? Sea Org children are separated from their parents and assigned a guardian. Doe's guardian, then a 24-year-old woman, groomed Jane Doe to enter into a S relationship with her, according to the lawsuit. That's disgusting. See, there's female predators too. As a child, Doe could not understand the consequences of her actions and could not consent to a sexual relationship, the lawsuit states. The complaint states church officials should have known the guardian was abusing and prevented the abuse from occurring, but they did not. Once she escaped Scientology in 2018, Jane Doe was stalked, harassed, and followed by church officials, tactics that went beyond all bounds of decency, and the conduct was shocking, atrocious, and utterly intolerable in a civilized community. The lawsuit stresses the alleged culpability of Miscavige, Scientology's leader who took over the organization following Hubbard's death in 1986. It describes the Sea Org structure as a human trafficking scheme that benefits Miscavige financially. Oh, you see, they're going with that same narrative. Oh, it benefits a hell of a lot more people than Miscavige. Church officials have made billions off the backs of men, women, and children who are trafficked and forced to work 100-hour weeks for far below the minimum wage with little to no free time or vacation under the threat of severe punishment for failure to perform their work duties, the lawsuit states. The complaint alleges child Sea Org members like Doe have their food rationed. Isn't that neglect? Isn't that neglect? Anybody, please, maybe you can set me straight because I'm confused. Isn't rationing children's food neglect and abuse? And are subjected to hard labor. Wait a minute. FBI, Department of Justice, could you guys please tell me if making children do hard labor, is that a crime? Is that a crime? I think it is, right? Like asbestos removal in construction. Children are deprived of proper education, and any child or adult who flees or speaks negatively about the church is subject to shunning by parents. Let's just call it what it is. It's dissociation, or not what's it called now? I can't think of it right now. Disconnection. Shunning by parents, relatives, and friends through Scientology's disconnection policy. Personal freedoms are restricted. Families are separated and severe punishments. Yeah, and they're all willing. The adults are willing. And severe punishments are utilized to maintain complete control over the forced workers, including children, in the Sea Org, the lawsuit states. Along with misgavages and the church's liability for Doe's abuse, the lawsuit states Clearwater Academy failed in its legal duty to protect students. Why not call them what they are? They're children. To protect the children. Remember that? The legal team's first lawsuit filed in June on behalf of another Jane Doe. Oh, look, there's another one. Another victim. Accuses the church of child abuse related to auditing, where children are interrogated for hours about sexual questions. Yeah, with grown men, by the way, and sometimes grown women. Human trafficking the woman was a part of in the Sea Org, and fair game tactics she endured after escaping, including the church publishing a hate website, falsely stating she was an alcoholic dismissed from the sect for promiscuity. You see how bad that is? This poor girl was essayed, sexually abused as a child, and then they call her promiscuous. It's sickening. I'll bet it was men that wrote those hate websites, don't you guys think? The second lawsuit was filed in August against Scientology, Miscavige and actor Danny Masterson on behalf of 4 women who alleged they were arred by Masterson, which turned out to be true, but they couldn't prove it in all cases. A parishioner. Oh, he's a parishioner. Masterson's a parishioner. But the guy that arred the child was an employee. After they reported the R's to Los Angeles police in 2016 and 2017, can't wait to hear this, the lawsuit states Scientology unleashed a campaign of terror to intimidate the accusers, in which I theorize that LAPD was in on that kind of stuff. Allegedly. Ken said he expects his team to file numerous complaints. You see how they got him on that one? I think he was involved somehow with Scientology. To file numerous complaints this year against Scientology relating to alleged victims of child abuse, human trafficking, and harassment. Obviously, this is a very secretive organization that has policies that you are not to speak publicly about any of the abuses that are occurring. Well, Kent would know, wouldn't he? Kent told the Times, "We want transparency and we want to expose the abuses that are happening." So that's it, you guys. I will put the link in the description box. Have a good night or a good day wherever you are. Peace.